Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the most must-see podcast here in the NJSSL. Welcome to the Cutting Redge. As usual, I am your host, Reg, and we are joined today by potentially the MVP of Division II basketball in NJSSL for this season. He is the leading scorer and captain of the NJAA Lions. He is the one, the only, the insane man, Sayyedain Haider. Sayyedain, how's it going, my man?
I'm good. How are you, Reg? This
Good,
is
good. Alhamdulillah. It's an honor to have you on the show, my friend.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I mean, I've been meaning to get on the podcast since I'd say Miami Heat. I've been wanting to get on the podcast.
Yeah.
So
It's been
been a
it's
while.
been a few seasons since then. How first off, easily I think you're in a conversation for potentially most improved, if not, if they're not doing a separate MVP for D2. How has, your game come along in your mind from like the days of Miami Heat when nobody really cared to even guard you up until now?
It's a really interesting story. So you can hear me, right, Reg?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So it's a very, very interesting story. So I think at the end of the Miami Heat season, I scored a donut. I did not score any points for any games at all, playoffs included, and in the regular season, I scored nothing. And that, knowing that I scored 0 points, that was my wake up call. I was like, wow, I really scored 0 points for the entire season. I did not score a single bucket. So right then and there, I was like, okay, I need to start getting on the court more and practicing. And um I got a membership at LA Fitness, and I just started going to the gym there, and I
Yeah,
started putting up shots every single day.
yeah.
And I started building consistency in my jump shot. I finally learned how to shoot consistently. um I learned the fundamentals of the game because I had not known the fundamentals before, defense, rebounding, all sorts of good stuff like that. And
100.
NJAA season came around. I just started I learned a lot of fundamentals from Mosid, Adil, and Ali Mirza especially. And I think after that season, that was when I truly started to form into the player that I am right now. And I think a lot of the Fudger Ball players, AA, Ali Mirza, ZJ, uh, on, they have a lot to do with my growth as a player. Because I feel like as opposed to a lot of the other B team players, I was thrown into the jungle, so I had to
Yeah,
fend for myself. So it was kill or be killed. So
yeah.
I was playing against AA and Ali Mirza, and I had to learn how to play defense. I was guarding Faisal at Lifetime, and I was like, "What the hell do I even do?" I just was so lost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I
So
think you.
now,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Finish what you're saying.
I'm just I feel more complete now. I feel like right now I can compete at an A team level, but I want to complete myself as a player before I can compete on that level.
100%, 100%. I think you arguably have evolved into a player that definitely can, match some of the players that are playing in the Division 1 league.
Hmm.
Um, I think all that extra private training sessions with Ali Mirza has certainly been paying off.
Yeah,
Both on the No Juans and now
he's
on this
become a
team.
great mentor figure for me. He's like my older brother. So everything that I am is because of him. Adil, especially Adil, deserves a lot of credit for it because he helped me out a lot. So
100%. And I'm glad that you mentioned both Ali Mirza and Adil. And I really want to hear your thoughts as we kind of talk about let's start with the Division 1 teams. I'm going to pull up the standings as they stand, as it is right now. Let's see if we can get it right there. Let's share that. And
are these the stats?
these are, yeah. Well, let's start with the standings for Division 1. So we have basically three 2-0 teams and three 0-2 teams. Amongst the two people that you've found as mentors, Ali Mirza and Adil, their teams are struggling down in the dumps, and
That
along with them is Abbas Haider. Just to put it out there, I guess we can kind of just go through these teams real quick. I mean,
I
Mirza
wish there
has a
was a way
solid.
to zoom in. Oh, there is a way to zoom in. You can full screen it. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah, 100%. So Mirza has a solid team. I mean, he's got him, he's got Alamdar Magni, he's got Sajjad Al Casey, he's got Yafa, he's got Ahmed Ali. I'm not. I mean, this team is the best of the 0-2 teams. They lost by the least in both their games, and they both had two tough games. Um, but one of the things that you might notice looking at like a Boss Heather's team, it's just the mustache to Boss Heather, and Prof and Taz, but arguably a lot of these other guys could be Division 2 level.
Mhm.
Same with Digicide. You got Adil, you've got Thorab, and you've got um, Raza Ahmad, but like the way at least all these other guys have been playing in the first couple of games, very arguably Division 2 level. And
Mhm.
I kind of want to hear your take on the struggles of these three teams.
So I think I'm gonna start with Veloz Capital Ali Mirza because that's our A team, Reg,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's easier to talk about them because I've seen
Sure,
their games firsthand.
sure.
Honestly, in the first week when you're matched up at like a player like Yafa, when you're matched up against like Hussein Abdi, um, who's a former MVP and arguably probably the most athletic player in NJSSL, freak athlete. He's like I like comparing him to Giannis in a sense, like in NJSSL. He is basically like Giannis. Um when a player like Yafa's matched up against him, it's gonna be hard for Yafa to get some pick and roll action with AA and Alamdar because they're the two playmakers on the team. Um
100%.
they're the ones who are running the offense, and it's gonna be harder for AA and Alamdar to make plays for Yafa because this is a defensive player of the year. Like
Yeah,
this
100%.
is one of the best defensive players that he's
I think
playing
I
against.
think Hussein in that first game he had 6 blocks if I'm not mistaken. So definitely a great point. And I will say the big thing to point out is they barely it was a close game. They were up kind
Yeah,
of for most of the game too, if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah.
Adams really just pushed strong at the end between the
Watching
Everton
that
game.
game towards the end was really, really like heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah.
because of how they turned how Veloz Capital turned the ball over towards like the last 5 minutes. I mean,
Hmm.
literally the reason they lost was because of turnovers. But I mean, also like when you have two playmakers on the same team and on the same floor, you're bound to turn the ball over a lot. Um,
Well, I was gonna
especially
say that's a great point because like look at this. Just like
yeah, nine
every
turnovers
player
on the
has
same floor
multiple
is insane.
turnovers.
That's really bad.
Every player has multiple
And
turnovers, and I
like
don't even. That's only actually no. That's probably counting both games, but like honestly, I think they're underdoing it because watching those games, it just seems like it's just turnover city
yeah,
in
it's
every game.
insane. And especially because AA is going to be like the leading scorer, like he's going to be the man on the team.
Hmm.
Having somebody as like Alamdar as your co-star and him having 4 turnovers a game, it's just that's tough pressure. That's really
Yeah,
tough pressure.
I will say I think this is we got to call out a couple of guys right now. I mean,
I
Mustafa, I
just
think
I
might have
can't see
only
it
had.
that well, Reg. So just read it out to me.
Oh, I don't know why it's not coming out so clear, but I mean the big
Yeah.
point
Okay, I can see it better.
the
Thank
big
you.
points I want to make here is like nobody should ever have more turnovers than they have points in
Mm-hmm.
in a Division 1 league. Okay,
Yes.
so all in all, you listen. You seem like a solid guy, but like work on it, dude. Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing here? Like, this is unacceptable. 231 field goal percent. That's embarrassing. Also, Rizvi, I mean, listen, I know you're a great 3 point shooter, but again, 286, not gonna cut it. And most of all, Casey, I don't know how you only have 1 point average and then 4 turnovers. I don't know how accurate these statistics are, but like, this is embarrassingly
I
bad. Like,
think
you
I
fix
think
those things right there, and then that's it. Game's in your hands every time.
I think Mustafa's 1 point is from a free throw in the first game, and he didn't show up the second week. And
Well, that just means he had 4 turnovers in the
yeah,
first game, and that's
yeah,
just
that's
again
really
not
not good. That's
acceptable in
terrible.
the Division 1. You
Yeah,
know,
and
and I think.
honestly, go
Sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, 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 you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, like just to kind of move it along, right? So, while this team is 0-2, certainly as we both are on that the same team, we're the NJAA is the 2-0 top team in the in Division 2,
Right.
um, which we're once I figure out how to, I don't know where the thing went, but I'm trying to pull up. Oh, here we go. So going back to the standings here, right? So Division 2, NJAA. I mean, 90 points for, 42 points against. Like you compare it to the other teams, clearly I think Velocity Capital would benefit from getting a couple of guys from our Division 2 up to Division 1, just to kind of refresh, everybody. You've got yourself kind of leading the charge. You've got Shabir Nakvi, you've got AJV, Asad Joffrey, big shout out to Adi Shah and Ali Abid and Salman Zaidi. We got myself, Abir, and Nafi Bakr. So easily, I think that yourself, Salman, Ali Abid, Adi, all four of those guys could arguably be on the A
I'd
team.
argue Ali Jawad also belongs up there too.
100%. Any of those five guys could be on there. I think
Yeah,
in terms of turning around the Division One team's 0-2 record, I
yeah,
think two things they could definitely use would be like either yourself, Ali Abid, or Salman. I mean, I think offensively they're good. It's really minimizing the turnovers is going to be key and getting boards. So I think that's where somebody like a Salman or an Ali Abid will kind of be helpful.
yeah. I mean, as far as big men go, Asad Kazmi and Jafar Ali Khan, like them two being like your power forward and center,
Mm-hmm.
and then like having like Sajad Al Casey like on your team as well.
That should have been
That
nice.
does a lot for you on like below the rim. But I feel like the key like role players are like missing on this team. Like you can never have enough shooters, you know?
That's fair.
Like I'm not saying that I want to play on the A team because I really want to like shine on the B team and like show people how great I am. That was my goal from the start of the season
You've
was
already
to
done it.
yes. But I mean, hey, if they want to call me up, I'm completely fine with that. I'm not against that.
Okay.
I know that there's a lot of like I know there's a lot of nuances to getting a player up to the A team and like forfeiting games and all that. But hey man, I mean, if Ali Mirza wants to, I'm down for
We'll
it. I'm
we'll
so
just
down
have to
for it.
wait. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I think the one thing to point out is that Ali Mirza himself has not played a single game yet
That's
for
that's
this
a
season
that's a
for
big
Velocity.
reason. That was a big thing I was about to talk about. Ali Mirza not playing is a very very big reason why this team
Yeah,
is like number four. What that's number four in the standings.
yeah.
Yeah, like we've only lost games by like 5-10 points. Like I think Ali Mirza is going to change the landscape for our team. Like just
I hope so. I hope so. Let's move on to some of the other teams though. Say then, just because we've got a lot of teams to talk about,
yeah,
and we're already 13 minutes in.
yeah.
So tell me like your thoughts on Digipsych. Digipsych so far has they lost last week, demolishing to Team Mako 48-28 final,
Can I just see
and
the
then the
score
game
for the
before
previous
that
game?
was 77-51. So two just complete
Crazy.
domination. Like they didn't even compete. And
Yeah,
the
I
only
do
thing I'm
remember
going to
this
point
game
out,
actually. I do remember this game.
so
The
I
against
watched their
Found.
first game against Profound, and basically the big thing for me was Muhammad Reza Namazi absolutely not playing like what he should be playing. Like he literally is playing like I don't even know. Like he's playing as if he's never played basketball in his life. Like he's pretty bad. Like it's like he's basically Sayyedain on the Heat. That's what he is. So I don't know what he's doing,
That's
but
so funny.
hopefully he's able to turn it around because we all know he is much better than that. But what are your thoughts on this team and the two games they played so far?
So every time a team plays Sharuk, I'm always going to look past it because it's Sharuk. Like I'm always if you lose to Sharuk, I'm not gonna be like overly critical of you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's Sharuk.
One of the
That's like the greatest player in NJSSL. Like
That's fair.
so, but I will say their next game, which was when they played ZJ's team, which is Mako, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was really criminal. I saw the first half like on video, and I was just so like I was shocked. I was like, wow, like only scoring 13 points in one half.
Yeah,
That's like SNS when we played them.
it's pretty awful. Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's pretty bad.
scoring only 13 points in one half is really, really like
It's one might
on an
argue
18 level is not good.
it's yeah, it's unacceptable as a as an A team. They're gonna need to make some changes to their
Yeah.
squad.
I will say, well, could you go back to their roster?
Yeah,
Because I feel like a player who's severely like underutilized on this team is Ramiz. Ramiz is a very, very he's severely underrated on this team.
I mean, if he can keep up, right? Like, I mean, like you said, all the teams are better this season, right? So if you
Yeah.
look back at, I don't know if he played the second game because the stats aren't there.
Yeah.
But if you look at his first game against Profound, right? Like he was pretty goddamn awful. Like I mean, 1 of 8
Oh
shooting,
no.
one of 4 here, 0 of 4 from three. He got 2 rebounds. I mean,
Nah.
I guess he got 2 steals. We'll give him that. We'll give him that. But like he didn't really contribute much. Is kind of the point here, right?
Damn. I
And
didn't even know that.
in
I did not
Division
know
One,
that.
you like look at the other team. Every single player is contributing.
I didn't
So
even
like
know Ryan went 100% from the field. Good job, Ryan.
yeah, two of 2. There, there you go. But see, that's what I mean. Like, right? Like
Crazy.
every single player is contributing. So we can't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna have to do. Maybe they need to figure out the chemistry. But did just say you gotta yeah we
On
gotta figure
paper, it
that
looks very good. On paper, it looks very good. Rosa Emma, Thrab, Adil, Morez, all on the same team. Like, if you told me, like,
out.
last season, like,
Yeah,
in the same format, if all four of those players were on the same team, I'd be like,
yeah.
wow, that's like a championship
It,
level team.
it requires Morez to not play like trash, basically, though, right? So I mean, I think because the other like Raza Ahmed, Adil, Thorab, I think at least in that first game, again, I didn't see
Yeah,
the second game, but they kind of played their role, right?
yeah,
But Morez, I feel like only half played his role, and so I think that was kind of the downfall there.
yeah.
Let's talk about the last 0-2 team. Then we'll kind of move on
Right.
to the 2-0 teams. Back to the standings here. So let's talk about Miracle. So Miracle Family Dentistry, they
This is
also I
it. I
think
watched their game last night too. I was really disappointed.
yeah. Tell
I
me
was
about
really
their game
sad.
against Timeless.
So I'm not gonna say like okay. So the way that they play, Taz, Abbas Haider, Professor, they play very, very cohesively. But oh, and Zulfi, I don't want to leave Zulfi out. He's just so like he's so small on the court. Like you just don't even know. Like
Easy to
even
leave out.
now, I'm like forgetting that he was on the team.
Yeah.
But I saw Zulfi in that first half drain like 5 threes, like off the dribble, off a screen. Like Zulfi was the one who was putting it on for that team in the first half.
Yeah.
Like he was very, very efficient in the first half. Like I think they had like a 12-point lead in the first half or something like that. They were up on this team
And then
by
they
a
blew it.
lot.
Stuck for a lot.
Yeah, they blew it like crazy. I was really upset because they lost by like 13
13,
points.
13, yeah.
It's really upsetting.
That's
And
rough.
I mean, Taz did get hurt in the second half. I did see him like get on the ground. He was like
Mm,
I think he hurt his leg.
yeah.
Um, Defensively, I mean, even like Abbas Heather's efficiency. I mean, 2 for 10. That's kind of
It's rough. It's
like
rough. It's
that's
definitely
really that's really tough.
not adequate. I mean, I think certainly with injuries in the play, right? Like that could be contributing to it. Honestly, I I'm not I'm not unsold on this team, right? I think
Yeah,
they're gonna find a out of all the 3 teams, I think
it's just a bump in the road
they're
for
gonna
them. I
find a way to
mean,
turn it around.
yeah, it's just a bump in the road. They look like a cohesive team. They look like
Mhm.
they know what they're doing, especially Taz and Snacks. They look really, really good together because they're brothers. Like
Yeah,
they have the best chemistry. So I
yeah,
trust that they'll figure things out. And Zulfi is a great cornerstone piece. Like small, like Steph Curry type. Get around
yeah.
the court.
So I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on the 2-0 teams, right? Certainly, we're not surprised that these that Found, Mako, and Timeless are all kind of hanging at the top. Certainly, Found is like they have a very well balanced team, a lot of top players offensively and defensively.
I mean,
Same with Mako, right? I mean, I think between ZJ, Ali Hassan, uh,
I'm a little disappointed in ZJ. I did not know he was averaging 8 points for the season. That's really strange.
yeah, well, but that's the thing, right? Like he doesn't like he's also averaging 6 assists,
That's true.
like 5 rebounds. I mean, granted, his offensively he's not doing so well, but he's got like 3 other guys that are also contributing. Ayan, I think played in Division 2 on the first week, absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, he had like
Got
18, right?
promoted. Yeah, I don't even remember how many points. We'll get there, I guess. But got promoted to D1 this past week. I don't. So yeah, neither of these teams have their
Yeah,
stats.
they don't have their
Guys,
stats
it's Thursday. The game happened 5 days ago. Get your stats in already. Jeez,
yet.
absolutely ridiculous.
Ali
But
Chan needs to put his foot down.
yeah, clearly. But so I mean, we don't
We
know.
need to
I
get the
mean,
stats up right now.
the numbers like these 8 points are probably just from week 1, then, right? So like these numbers could be totally different after week 2.
Yeah. I
But
don't think Ali Hassan played the second week. I didn't see him play the second week, the second game.
yeah. Well,
But I mean,
all I
his
know is
first
that
game,
the one guy I
one
saw.
turnover.
Wait, sorry, say again.
I'm like in his first game, 16 points with one turnover and
Yeah,
shooting
see,
38%. That's really, really good.
that's the thing, right? Like, I think this team like that's exactly what we're not seeing, right? Turnovers compared to like
Yeah,
Velas Capital, plenty of
yeah,
turnovers. I think the one thing that I was gonna say is, the big shout out has to go to Mo Sid. I only watched part of the game against Digipsych, but like Mo Sid was just on fire, and he looks like a different man. I actually didn't
yeah.
recognize him at first because like a
He's
year
lost a
ago,
lot of
he had
weight.
a big belly. He was kind of slow on the court. Now he is
Yeah,
like more fit. He's active. His hair's growing back. Everything's just turning around for him. So I think it's that once you want, it's one of those things that right before you're getting married. I think it's he's getting that glow.
I
Um,
mean, honestly, like he is. People really sleep on his jumper. His jumper is really silky
solid,
smooth. He
solid,
has. I think having him and Fiddy on the same team, like they both have the
risky.
smoothest jumpers in the game. Like in
Hmm.
NJSSL, they have the best jumpers I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then I guess just to put it out there, Timeless, right? So they're also 2-0. Also another top team. Not too many turnovers. I'm not sure exactly what the story here is with the points. Like, there's like 20 points that they have
Um,
for this.
Honestly, it looks like everybody on this team plays their role really well.
Yeah.
I mean, Farhan, he's like the bucket getter on this team. Like I saw him turn it up at the second half against Miracle, and I think he was a big reason why they won that game. Um, but what I noticed with like the rest of the players on this team, like Heather, like going from like a second, third option, like one of the best shooters in NJSSL, and now he's become like a six man. Like I don't know, like what's a good compare? Maybe like a Patty Mills type. He's become that, and then Mehdi becoming like the defensive like hound on this team.
Hmm.
Hussein becoming like the big man who gets the dirty work done under the rim, and Faisal becoming like this is King Faisal's return. I mean, I'm looking at the games and he's getting
That's exactly
buckets
what I
out
was
there.
gonna say. Is that Faisal, now that he actually has a team that he has everything he needs, at his
Yeah,
disposal, he's gonna probably play the best he's played since that season on the Heat.
yeah. All of his energy is going towards his offense, and he looks better than ever.
Absolutely. We only have the
I'm
stats for
proud
the
of him
game
too
against.
because last season he was really slumped, and I could tell it was like really like upsetting. And
Yeah,
now he's like doing really good, so I'm really happy for him. Faisal, if you're watching, I'm really happy.
Faisal. Even the guy who's always kind of thrown jabs at you all of last season. Though I did say you were going to win MVP the season before that, but then you didn't, so I was disappointed. But no, I think you're definitely right up there in talks again for like MVP potentially for this year.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Obviously, the big thing I want to point out here, and because I've said this before too, I don't know how accurate this is, but like 7 of 25 for Hussein Abdi, 1 of 12 for Mehdi J. Right. The issue that I've had with both of those guys is that they often make the game about themselves. And I think
Hmm.
with this sort of team, like there's no reason to be doing that because everyone's so talented.
Yeah.
So I feel like I bet I have to go back and watch the game to make sure,
I
but
think in
like
the second game they played a little better. They played a little bit better.
probably,
Hassan
probably
played much better. Mehdi played much better. I mean, Mehdi hit more shots. I think the difference between seeing Mehdi this game and probably last week is like he's taking the shots that he's most comfortable with.
right. Well, that's what I was gonna say, right? Like I think both of those guys have a tendency to like try and make big plays, and like at the end of it, like in doing so, like they take these very low percentage shots.
Yeah.
And so, I think there's definitely no reason to do that with the talent that they have. And I think they're kind of realized that probably between game 1 and game 2, and that's why game 2 they had a much better outcome. But we'll see. We have lots of game
I
left,
mean, I
obviously.
I still I still really like Hassan's game. I like him like his role on this team as like a big man. I
Yeah,
mean
as long
like
as he sticks to it.
if he gets down in the post and just gets straight to work, it's gonna be wonderful for this team.
And if not, I mean, they have, like I said, plenty of other options, right? He
Yeah.
should be able to get. He should be the guy who grabs the offensive rebound, puts it
The
back.
difference is now is he's not the one bringing the ball up the
Right.
court anymore. He has other players that he can rely on for that.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Real quick, we'll just kind of finish up Division One just by throwing out some predictions for next week. We have this upcoming week off, but then I believe the Sunday after that,
Yeah,
we're,
Thanksgiving.
we're back on it. So here we go. So Timeless is going to actually be playing Profound. So this is going to be a 2
Yeah.
0 against a 2 0 team. Who do you take in this game?
Um, honestly, this is a tough one because like they're both really well balanced teams. Everybody does something great on this team. They excel at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, like I'd be wrong to like not bet on Shahrukh. Like everybody,
Yeah,
like Shahrukh, you just can't not bet on him. It's
yeah,
just like I know he's gonna put on. So
100%. No, 100%. Assuming full squads and everything like that, right?
I hope none of
You
the
basically never go
opposing
against
teams
Fount.
ever take offense to what I say. I don't mean it maliciously at all. I just honestly, truthfully think that Shahrukh he's just like
He'll
too
find a way
good.
to win. So what he does. No, I think Found. You predict Found to win. If there's going to be a team that beats them, it's going to be Timeless Creations.
Yeah.
So I
I
I
mean,
have a feeling.
I think Veloz Capital also has a better chance too with Ali
Velocity Capital
Mirza.
already lost to them, so
I
um,
mean, we were up in the second half by like 6 points.
yeah,
It's very
that's a
it's
loss.
not like it's not possible.
That's fair. I won't say it's not possible, but
Yeah,
they failed at
yeah,
times. So.
unfortunately. But there is also another game of the season.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%. Then going to what's the other? This is not it. What's the other 18 game? Is this one? DigiPsych versus Miracle Family Dentistry. 2-0-2 teams. Who do you got taking the win here?
Honestly, I have Miracle. Just they look like they have like the chemistry down. I mean everybody. I mean Abbas Heather, Taz, Professor. I mean the three of them look really great, and then like
Yeah,
Zolfi like looks too good. I'm putting it on Miracle. I mean
yeah,
just until DigiPsych finds like that frequency, like that area in the frequency where they can like truly like key in on that. Like I have Miracle up against them.
no, I think absolutely because, like I said, DigiPsych, the way, at least the way they're playing right now, bunch
Yeah,
of deep division
they just
rivals.
need to find that area and
Yeah,
just key in on that.
Velocicapital and Mako. Who do you got?
This is a tough one because this is like our A team. So, but honestly, looking at this right now, I'm gonna have to go with the Lost Capital just because like this is gonna be the first time Yafa's playing against like somebody who isn't Shahrukh or Hassan. So he's gonna have more like flexibility underneath the rim, and he's gonna get better looks. And this is AA versus ZJ, so
Yeah,
AA is obviously gonna go out there and like play with a chip on his shoulder.
interesting.
I think that the variable that I'm worried about is Alamdar, and Alamdar is he's a good friend of mine, so it hurts me to say this, but it's like I don't know what I'm gonna get from him.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, I think the good thing for Lost Capital is I think um, Jaffa can neutralize Sabit and his height. But I still think until like I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna be a close game. I think I'm gonna give it to Mako, and we'll see we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Um, let's move on to Division Two because there's a lot of good guys to talk about here. Um, we've already talked about our team. We are the top team in Division Two. We're the only undefeated team in Division Two. It's not even
I
close.
mean,
Both games are
yeah, I
blowout.
mean, more to come. I mean, you guys are just watching the beginning. Like this is about to be murder.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Then we've got four teams that are 1-1. We've got ZJ's PTW. I wish I physical therapy and wellness. Then we got Adil's PTC team. We've got SNS Motorsports, Feed the Homies, and Infallible Wisdom. Um, let's kind of just break it down. I guess we can kind of talk about this past week. Well, let's start off by talking about Infallible Wisdom. They're 0-2. They consist of Abbas Razi, Akbar Joffrey, Ali Ahmed Shah, uh, Aiden Khan, Haider Naqvi, John Sheikh, Zain Naqvi, Shabir Sayed, Muhammad, who's I don't think played a game yet, Muhammad Ali Naqvi, Mudassir Zaidi, and Mehdi Razi, right? So basically, a
Mhm.
bunch of old guys, a bunch of kids. Shah, who thinks he's an offensive star but can't score a
Yeah,
shot.
I
He's
mean,
only
I
put on
saw I saw his stat line this week. I was really disappointed.
yeah, and then you've got Mudassir who can shoot some threes here and there.
Yeah.
And Akbar Jaffer, who I just don't think is taking enough shots. I don't know. Anyways, this team is just I can't imagine they're going to win a single game. Like I would be
Yeah,
shocked if they
they
did.
look really inconsistent. I actually watched their I just finished watching their game
Hmm.
before the podcast. Uh During this matchup, like I'm seeing like Mudassir and like Shah are like the ones who are taking the most shots on this team, and I was
And
like, I mean, what Mudassir got like 10 points this game?
yeah, about 10 points, and it's
Yeah,
also
and like Mudassir has like a reputation for being like a shooter.
mhm.
Like people know him as a shooter,
Yeah.
but like 0 for 3 from or no, that's okay.
No, no,
He went 3
no.
for
He went
7
three of
from 3.
seven from three. The big
Okay,
issue here
never
is
mind.
Shaw is
Okay.
why is Shaw taking 16 shots, first of all? And if so,
Yeah.
why are five of them 3 pointers? Shaw, you know you've never hit a 3 pointer in your life, dude. Like, what are you doing? You know? Like, I mean, come on. Like, our last season, Bobby yelled at him every time he took a 3 pointer. I don't know who needs to do that here. I guess it needs to be ZB. ZB actually
um
kind of played relatively decent this game.
yeah.
He had 15 points for
I
his team.
was I was paying more
But
attention to Farhan's team like during this game. Just watching like the infallible wisdom, it just does not look like they have like any chemistry or like
yeah.
there's not a lot of people I mean there's a lot of older guys, so obviously it's going to be harder for them to move around on the floor, but you also have like a lot of younger kids who
Yeah.
like they don't really know how to move around the floor either, like they don't know how to make the proper cut or space the floor or stick out to one spot. It's
Even
just
still, though, like we played Feed the Homies week one for like they were terrible. Like none of
yeah.
them, like other than Irfan, none of these guys are like half decent. Granted, Veli did not play that game, and he actually did pretty well here. But also, it's
Yeah.
Veli. Like
What,
Veli
he got like
is not
11
very good at
points?
basketball, so I'm not entirely sure what these guys were doing to allow them to like I just don't know what
I
they're doing
mean,
that they lost.
I mean,
Like
like I'm just like I looked at the end of the game. It was a pretty close game. I'd say the biggest reason why this team won was because of Irfan. Irfan like turned it up towards like the last 10 minutes. He did a lot of the heavy lifting for this team. I don't think like infallible wisdom had like an answer for
I
Irfan.
mean, but like there should not like there's
I mean, we destroyed this team the first
nothing.
week.
Doesn't make any sense.
We destroyed this team the first week, so I wouldn't say that it's like hard to shut down this team, but I mean like
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very
I
confused.
expect you to get the job done when you shoot 55 shots.
It was primarily Irfan. I mean, he was the top rebounder. He had the most points. Like he did a lot of the heavy lifting. And I
Yeah.
guess you throw Saif Zaidi and Vali Mirza in there as the second two guys, but like
Yeah, I mean, I
easy.
saw Seth like he ran the floor a lot for this team, but I mean, I feel like he could have put in a little bit more effort into like the scoring part, but I mean, from his like looking at like the way he plays, he doesn't really like seem to know how to score, but
Yeah.
I mean, he is a great like playmaker. I
What
love
I'll
to see.
say is that the team stepped up pretty big from week one. Like week one, they were god awful. Last week, at least they kept it close. I don't know if they
God,
just played
this
a
is
worse team,
terrible.
but it was pretty bad. So
This is bad.
I mean, who are they playing next? They're playing
Those teams.
PTC. So let's talk about
That's gonna
PTC.
be interesting. That's gonna be interesting.
We can talk about that
That's a
team
fun
next.
team.
Um,
It's a very fun
so
team.
we talked about Feed the Homies slightly. We talked about Infallible. Let's talk about PTC. PTC,
All
Abbas
right.
Aldani, Arham Shah. Arham was on the D1 team initially, I think. I don't know if he got demoted, but
I
Shabir
think he
Ali,
just wants to
Shannon
shine more
Khan,
on the D team, on the B team.
got it. Raza Zaidi, Sami Haider. They won this past week. PTC. They beat
Yeah, in an overtime
GW
game, I saw that.
Physical Therapy Juanes 40-39. It was a tight game. Let's. You saw that game?
Yeah, I saw it. Like I saw the video of it. Like
How was it?
I
How
like
was it?
skip. Like I put it on 2 times speed so I could like speed it up.
Yeah. What was your big points from that game?
So I mean, looking at this game, I 2 for 11 is kind of crazy, boss. Like that's a lot of shots. Like that's a lot of shots. Like 18% is kind of insane.
Well, let's that is pretty bad. But let's give the shout outs to guys like Shazan Khan, as I was saying, Shah.
Shazan was hooping. Shazan was
I didn't
hooping.
even know that Shazan could score a basket, let alone 4 out of 8. So that's pretty good. Especially two of those are 3 pointers. Good job, Shazan.
Yeah,
I think the more interesting thing to talk about here is like Sayyedain off top, 2 of 20. Like
yeah.
on the game.
That's really really
Why
crazy.
like after you missed the first like 10 of those shots, like stop taking so
Yeah,
many shots, right?
10%'s kind of insane. Like
Um,
that's
it's
really
pretty wild.
inefficient.
I mean,
I mean, how
overall,
many
this team just
turnovers
missed
did he
the
have?
class.
Does it
Sorry.
say how many turnovers he had?
It probably says it somewhere. I don't know if
2 turnovers. Okay.
this is supposed to
I
be.
mean, one thing he does do like really well is grab like rebounds. So I mean, he did do that well in this game. But come on,
Yeah,
bro.
the big shout out for me on this game is definitely obviously Chavo, but like Adnan
Like,
Riaz definitely played. He stepped up, right? I mean, I don't know if he's the third option on this team. I don't know if it's supposed to be Atif or who, but 5 of 9. He had 16 rebounds. Like he really kept
yeah,
the team
I
alive.
mean,
I think between him
like
and
he was like this on the Nojawans. I think he was third in rebounding last
yeah.
season, something like that. So I know he can play the big man role really well. But being that efficient, I mean, under the rim is very very good. I mean, I'm very proud of him. I'm
And
very proud of Shavo too. Like seeing the way that he plays, like I go to Lifetime all the time, and I see a boss out there and Shavo putting in work on the court, and
mhm.
it's something to applaud. Especially Shavo because he's so young.
Yeah, no, Chavo definitely going to be a potential top guy in the league.
Yeah, I'm
He
glad he's
really
playing
needs to
B
put in
team.
better performances moving forward, but we'll see. Let's move on to the last game. The last game from last week. That was us and SNS Motorsports. SNS Motorsports. I'm not exactly sure. You know what's funny is that I was drafted initially to this team and I got traded to NJAA for Muhammad Hussein.
This is Ali Hassan's dad, Muhammad Hassan,
Yeah, Muhammad
or
Hussein is
Muhammad
Ali Hassan's
Hassan.
dad. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I this team is god awful. I mean, they wish
Yeah.
that they
I
probably would
mean,
have had me because I think I scored more points than in
yeah.
this
I
game
mean,
than
look. I
anybody.
mean, so the stats aren't up for like
Oh, for
our
us.
team,
Oh,
but
yeah. Well,
Simon did send us the stats in the chat, so I'm
yeah.
gonna read them out. So I had 15. Adi had 19 points. Simon had 5. And how many did you have, Reg?
I had 4.
You had 4.
I had 4.
So I mean, like the biggest thing with this team was their efficiency. Look at their team total efficiency. I mean, like their field goals made and their field goals attempted.
7 to
7 for
51.
51.
That is
Like
rough.
that was the
That's
first
rough.
thing that stood out to me because, well, first of all, it's in all bold, but also like 7 for 51 is insane. That's 13%.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Like that's terrible.
That is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty awful.
I mean, and this is also like in the game, like I was hearing like the trash talk that they were saying. I was like, yo, this is a very arrogant team.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to say it. The big shout outs, honestly, I have to give her to Ali Hussein and Muhammad Hussein for being both guys 40 plus, but doing what they could to kind of keep this team
I
alive.
mean, Nabil, I will give it to him. He's a great defender. He's very very like he's
I mean,
very like dirty. He
they,
knows what he's doing as a defender.
I guess so. I mean, they let up 48 points. It's not that many points, but like also
I mean,
after a
he
while,
was
we're leaving
roughing me up
points.
on offense a little bit. I'm not gonna lie,
So
but I mean, like Adi, like 19 points, very very good.
yeah,
Very good. Not 9 for 15. I think he went from the field. I
yeah,
mean,
something like that.
that's very very good. I think I went 4 of 5 from 3, so I shot like 80% from 3.
Yeah.
I
So I
missed like
mean,
2 shots in total. So
I I think like I said, big shout outs to like pretty much between Adi, yourself, um,
Ali Jawad,
Ali
like
Jawad playing
it
really
may
well.
not seem like he's doing like a lot from the offensive end, but trust me, he like made the right passes and made
Yeah,
the
I
right
was saying he
plays
didn't
on.
score this game, but I think he led our team in assists. He led our team in steals and I think those two things this game. So
Yeah, he's a very underrated player. He may not show it from a scoring aspect, but he knows what to do on the court.
So, with all of that being said, I mean, clearly, I think we have some standout teams here, but I don't think any of them are as good as NJAA. We'll have to see what happens. Let's just kind of
Yafa's
do some
FaceTime.
predictions for next week, and then we'll
Yafa's
wrap it up.
FaceTiming me right now.
Who's calling you?
Yeah, Yafa.
All right, tell him to hold on. Let's let's wrap it up with after we do some
Yeah.
predictions. Did you answer the phone? Yeah,
No, no,
that's
no. I,
right
I,
there.
I hung up.
Nice.
I'm gonna call him later though.
All right, here we
I'm
go.
hanging out with Reg right now. I'm having a good time.
That's the way to do it, man. We always have a good time together.
Yeah,
All
look
right,
how
so
big the smile is on my face right now. It's because I'm hanging out with Reg.
so listen, we got PTW, physical therapy and wellness next week. Um, again, like Chavo, I mean, I guess a non me, unless
Wow,
I was off top. Those are
Zahid.
the guys. I know Mazahir's on his team, but I don't know. He's obviously got some personal stuff that he's tied
What?
up with, so I don't like him being there would be a huge
Oh my god.
difficulty. But I
Yeah,
don't know
if
if he's
he
gonna
if
be
he
there
played
yet.
this week, we would be in a tough
It
situation
would be a tight game. I still think we'd come out on top because we are the premier team in the D
for
two.
sure.
But who would how do you see this game going? What's the final score you see in this game?
I mean, considering how upset everybody was that we only had a 30-point game and everybody was complaining that it should have been like a 40, 50-point game, I think
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be a blowout again. But I mean, like, I think from me, what to expect from me is like I'm not going to play so conservatively. I think I'm going to attack the basket more, and like expect a big game this week.
Yeah,
Expect a big game. I'd say if like from Adi and Ali Jawad, expect them to show out on offense a little bit more. Especially Ali Jawad. I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people this week.
we'll see.
I think I just don't see us losing this game.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, I think it's going to be one sided as
Yeah,
these
I
games
mean
are. Or it'll
Chavo
be
and
closer. I think
Ion.
it'll be like a 10-point game maybe.
Yeah, Chavo and Ion are great players. I mean, it's not a knock on any of them. They're both really really good players.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Ion is on that team, or if he was, but I don't know if he's going to be playing this
Well,
week.
I mean, I saw him at the ABSA event. He told me he was going to play B team this week. So
Oh, okay, all right. Well, actually, that makes it interesting. I think it'll be a close game then, but I
yes,
still think we'll take the win.
yeah.
Let's talk about PTC and Infallible Wisdom. Who do you think takes it there? I'm going to go ahead first, and I'll just say that PTC, until Infallible Wisdom can prove otherwise, is going to get the win. Although, again, PTC is honestly not like most of these guys are pretty scrubby. So I mean, we'll see what happens. But other than Arham is my he's my go to guy on PTC. But
If he's playing on PTC this week, they're gonna win.
yeah,
I think they're gonna win. I think it's just gonna be like a 5-10 point game. I'm not gonna lie. From this week, I'm expecting a bigger performance from Sami Heather.
mm-hmm.
Like I feel like he's been like
He was 0 of
playing
8
very.
last game.
Yeah,
So,
I'm expecting better from him. Shazan, I mean, like I don't know if that's gonna happen again, but if it does, I mean, I just don't see them losing this game.
we'll see.
I've never seen Shazan hoop like that before in my life. Like
Yeah, who knew he had it in him?
2 for 3 from three is kind of like I did not know he had that in him.
All right, last game I did Feed the Homies versus SNS Motorsports. SNS, I mean, I guess I will say they were missing a couple of guys that are still not very good, other than
Sean
maybe
Sayani.
Sean. But I would give this one to Feed the Homies because they were less bad of the two teams that we beat.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this one to Feed the Homies. Like the way that Farhan coaches this team, I really like that. I saw them at Lifetime, and Farhan's really like preaching a lot of like pick and roll movement. And I was watching Wali and Mehdi Raza run this pick and roll, and Wali knew how to get the pass to Mehdi Raza right on like the target. So, I mean, if they just keep up that pick and roll movement, if who else is on this team? Seth Zedi. I mean, I just don't see them losing.
Well, it's the NJSL, as you know, Sayyedain. Anything can happen. Even if a guy like you can go from being zero to hero, anything can happen in this league.
Yeah, I mean
So
anything's possible. I had to pull
Absolutely.
out the Kevin Garnett real quick.
There you go. All right, my friend. Any final thoughts on the season, on the NJSL, anything?
I just wanted to like shout out a few people.
Go for it.
Well, obviously, shout out to you, Reg, for hosting this and
Of course.
letting me be on the podcast because it's like I kind of really wanted to, and now that I'm like, performing at like a higher level, I feel like I earned
You earned it.
my
Yeah,
my, my
I'm glad.
spot to
I'm
be
glad,
here.
man. All you had to do is just text me early, at any point in the past, and we probably could have gotten you on. But
Honestly, but I mean, I just didn't feel like I had
you have the right to.
like the right yet. I had to step it up.
That's
Um,
fair.
Shout out to Ali Mirza. Shout out to AA. Shout out to everybody in Inshallah Ball. Uh, a lot of the people in that group chat are the reason why I've become like this player. Everybody's helped me out. Everybody's had a helping hand in like me becoming a better player. So, shout out to all of them, and shout out to Yafa because I told him I was gonna be on here like 5 days ago, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna shout out you.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. Well, we look forward. I feel like it's been a while since I've had Yafa on, so hopefully, if he has a good game this week, then hopefully he'll be the
I'm
guy to come
expecting
back
him
on
to.
for next week. But we'll see what happens, inshallah. Well, until
Inshallah.
then, folks, this is the Cutting Reg. We are, blessed to have you guys as viewers. Keep on supporting the Cutting Reg. Keep on supporting Sayyedain. Keep on supporting the NJSSL. And inshallah, we'll see you guys bright and early next Sunday. Until then, folks, Shabbat Khair.